The Happy Hour Podcast with your host, Joel Fleischman.
Hey, welcome to Joel Fleischman Happy Hour Podcast, episode number 15. Got Alex Steiner here, Dave VanDreese. Did I say that right?
VanDreese, you're good.
VanDreese, man, I should have known his DVD.
Yeah.
Let's get started. Do this.
Bush. Feels good.
Yeah, excellent start as always. All right, so Alex here and Dave I brought on today. This is really a Captain Drexel Happy Hour Podcast. We're going to get an update from your two departments. What's going on, past, present, future. Just talk through that. And as always, we'll be all over the board. So, Alex, we'll start with you. You're on my left.
Mm-hmm.
You mean left-handed. What's your department?
Exteriors, so pretty much anything on the outside of a house, roofing, siding, decking, and harbor.
Dave.
Millwork department, so basically everything in the house, doors, trims, all your moldings, exterior doors too, storm doors, all that good stuff.
All right. Young dudes, how young are you guys?
29.
25.
29, you're like old.
I know, I don't know if I qualify for young.
You're not.
I just have a baby face, I can't grow a beard.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's part of
you
it.
still get like carded
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
I've never not been carded.
Dave's engaged.
I am. Yep.
Mhm.
All right. And Alex, you had just had a baby.
Just had a baby, 3 months old yesterday.
Baby's name?
Kendrick,
Kendrick.
Yep.
How's that going?
really good. He's, from stories I've heard, he's a good baby. I've heard horror stories. Unfortunately, we haven't had to deal with. He's at the point now where mom's back to work and she's sent me a couple messages saying that he's been fussy all day or crabby, and then I come home and as soon as he sees me, he's smiling. So we're at that point where it's really heartwarming, something that I have to look forward to coming home every day.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
That's great. When my kids were little, they would always run to the door. They don't do it anymore, of course. My kids are older. They would always run to the door and be like, Dad. So about 6 or 7 times I wanted to catch it on my phone
Mm-hmm.
on video. So I'd walk in the door and I'd play video. I should have saved even some of them. Sometimes they would accept it all. And the next time they would run, I'd be like, what's on your phone? Can I see your phone? I'm like, oh, this isn't.
Fail. Yeah.
Didn't work.
It never worked out. And Dave, you're planning a wedding.
Yep.
During COVID, how's that going?
So far so good. We got engaged, I would say, almost a year ago. It was during Packer season last year. Planned for May 29th of 21. So hopefully this is, long gone by that time. Doubt it, but you never know.
Yeah.
No plans have really been switched. Still the same amount of people that are being invited. But my brother's wedding did get canceled and pushed back, so now I'll be getting married before my brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of drama.
No.
So far, when is yours?
May 29th.
So you're planning no COVID restrictions? Is that what you're hoping for?
Banking on it. Yeah. And if we have to change some things up, shrink the amount of people invited, the show will go on. So.
Okay. So you guys both have interesting journeys here, right?
Yep.
So Alex, we'll start with you. What's your journey to get to the point, captain being you're in charge of the millwork department, which is how many $1 million?
Around 30.
30 million, how many people? Maybe 15?
A little bit less. 10 right now.
Right there,
Yep.
formally dedicated to millwork. Obviously, everyone kind of jumps
Exterior.
Exterior,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Keep flipping.
Right. Sorry, that's why I had a few
We got
questions.
it.
So
Yep.
30 million and 12?
Mhm.
PPE?
Not exactly sure on how many million, but I think it's a little bit more than that. Yeah, but I want to say 14, 15, mid-teens for how many people. We've had some new people join, so all great new hires, future rock stars for sure. But I just kind of got into the role. Yep. That's a cool process to be a part of for sure. Get to, help select those people that are our future, essentially. But yeah, a lot of great people in my department. New for me, not only millwork, I've only been doing it almost a year and a half, 2 years now. Time's flying by with that. But as far as like being the captain of the department, it's definitely green, new, fresh for me, but loving every second of it. So yeah, definitely different responsibilities, but everything I want to take on.
So Alex, your journey, I'm going to look at my phone for a second because I've got someone call me, which is so just texted me.
No, I can go while you're looking, but it started here 7 years ago. I was hired over in Berlin. Started out driving there, driving the van. Shortly after I started training. That was kind of, I think pretty safe to admit it, but the training was almost non-existent at that point. So I went from being the new guy to the trainee. We've put a lot more dedication.
All right. You gotta get on this. Well,
That's fine.
Keep it going. We'll see how this plays out. I'm not engaged because my son Marcus needs to get to football practice and I'm not there.
Do you want me to stop it?
No, I don't know. Maybe just call me right
Let it
now.
fly.
Hey, Marcus.
Join the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast. What's up? I didn't know that. How did I not know that? Well, I'm going to be on your way. We'll be on your way, okay? I'll be on my way. Hold on, why don't you go get Marcus taking the football?
Okay.
Keep it going. Keep the recording.
All right.
Keep it going.
Is he at your house?
Yeah, he is. He
go.
knows where to go. It's on the east side of the high school by the river.
You should probably text him and I'll take
You gotta fly.
Don't get pulled over.
I'm on.
Just on the fly.
All right, we're gonna keep going.
Love it. Let's
So
go.
I-
Let's
No,
go.
that works.
Let's
No,
go.
Let's go. That's what it's all about, right?
Mhm.
Nice little balance. So, Jeremy, start over.
Starting over. I started in Berlin. Actually, I was hired in Campbellsport. I applied in Berlin, and I reminded CJ of this the other day. He had forgotten, but I had started. My interviews were in Berlin. I was not given the job that I interviewed for. They ended up hiring somebody that came back for that position. So they sent me over to Campbellsport and said, hey, if you're willing to work there, you'd still go to Wrightstown when it opens up. But they're looking for positions as well, and we don't want to lose you. So I said, yeah, that works. Just a little bit longer of a drive for me. Took the position there, and then on my drive home,
So many years ago.
7 years,
Yeah.
7 years ago, yeah. On my way home, I got a call back from EB. He's like, hey, I know we just interviewed. They had offered me the position there. I accepted it, but the guy in Berlin didn't accept the position there. So your choice, wherever you want to go, whatever works best for you, we understand. So I ended up taking the Berlin role. I was driving in the yard there, and it was about a month into it, I had started training. That was kind of my first, we'll call it a promotion as a trainee. So then after that, I went from Berlin to Wrightstown, got my CDLs, worked in the yard there for a bit, jumped over into receiving, and then the position for, it was roofing and siding at the time. It was exteriors without the title exteriors. So I took that role. And then, yeah, things kind of just worked from there. We had Beef, who was the captain at the time, went into sales. Dan was kind of the interim captain. Shout out to Beef. Shout out to Teamer. No, that was Dan Teamer.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Okay.
So he was the
Iron
interim.
Beard.
Yeah. So I had spoke with him. I had talked to Woody at the time. They felt like I was a good fit. Dan was getting out of it. So I took the captain role from there. And then that was probably 2.5, 3 years ago. And then as of today, I took on the leadership role. So
As of today,
As of today,
congratulations, Matt.
a couple hours
Yeah.
ago.
We'll start calling him with all the
Yeah.
problems, right?
We are going to backfill some stuff in Wrightstown.
And what does that mean, captain to a leader at Drexel? What that really means is, I guess Alex can explain
Yeah.
what that means.
So as a captain, I say you're still in the trenches. A lot of your day-to-day is customer service, taking phone calls, placing orders for our sales team specific to the location you're in. And we kind of divide that into the 80-20. 80% of your time is doing that. 20% of your time is devoted to the captain role. Whereas a leader, 100% of your time is dedicated to your team. You're not so much on the customer service aspect of it.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's
Thanks.
very, very well said. So you've been in Wrightstown since they opened.
Mm-hmm.
Day
Yep.
one. How many
Day one.
people are left? Grandpa Dave was there, Dave?
Oh, yeah.
Dave was there,
Shout out
Wordle,
Dave. Wordle? Yeah.
we can throw Woody in there, even though he's in Kiel.
Schmall, day one?
Yeah.
Schmalls was,
Nervous
yeah,
day one, yeah.
yeah. And that almost, I feel bad if I'm forgetting anybody, but Beezer was day one.
Yep, Beezer's still.
Well, Beezer was in.
And then he went to Berlin.
Oh, then he went to Berlin.
And then
He went back to Berlin
Right.
and came back to Wrightstown, so shout out to Beezer.
Yep.
And then
Surprise?
Keith,
I don't think so.
no?
Yeah,
No,
that's
Keith,
great.
got the yard, Schneider. Can't forget that guy.
Oh, Schneider was there
Yeah.
from day one.
Me,
Why did we
Schneider,
wait that long?
Me,
That's
Schneider,
a great
and
question.
Brendan Miller as well.
Yeah,
We were the
so-
three yard
yeah,
guys,
right,
yeah.
Schneider was in there.
Yeah.
Schneider, Brendan,
Really?
and Schnall, right?
That's awesome.
Yep.
And you must have just kind of helped out when you needed.
Yeah, I was there.
Fun group.
So,
So that's great. That's great. we're gonna break that off to Dave now. Good
Yeah.
transition. Try to call my son back. That's just fantastic. This is all just great.
let her rip.
Let her rip.
I hope I can't. I don't know. It's on an iPhone. I'm not, so I'm really just messages. Flares up here. We're good. We're good. So, how about your journey, Dave? Where did you all come from? What do you got going on?
Yeah, I think I've had personally quite the journey here. Touched many yards. Started out after graduating from Madison.
Got hired
Um,
in Florida.
Yep. So I graduated, well, it was senior year of college at UW, and then met a team member on the beach during spring break. Didn't know what Drexel Building Supply was. Didn't know if we built houses. Didn't know if we just supplied material. Just made a mutual connection with that team member that we were both from Wisconsin. Mentioned that I was a senior, basically looking for work. Nothing was working out on my end as far as interviewing with, big companies. It's a big competition at Madison. When you go to the Kohl Center for the job fair, there's 20,000 kids walking around the Kohl Center looking for a job. So nothing panned out. Actually got in touch with that team member the day I left on that vacation and got back to Wisconsin. Said, I'll take anything you can get me, whether that's working in the yard. I didn't know what you guys did in the yard, didn't know what you did inside. Didn't think that there would be a good business fit. I had a business degree at Madison and took them up on just kind of meeting for breakfast one time in Middleton with plans of Columbus opening up, which seemed like it was a very long time away from when I'd actually get there. So I started out interviewing with Caitlin and Keith Battenhorst, who was at the time in, the plan to run the Columbus store, which shout out to Keith.
Brookfield Millwork was actually.
Yeah, he was doing, millwork.
Right.
Yeah, head of the millwork department back then. Then interviewed with you and Caitlin. Walked in full suit and tie.
Yeah, it was very impressive.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And then you made everyone stop what they were doing in the store and was like, look at this guy. Look what he's wearing. And now today we wear shorts and polos to work, which is sweet. But yeah, ended up leaving there with a job, went back to school, very excited to start. Couldn't wait for the year to get over and finally start making some money. Started in the yard at Campbell Sport with Juice as my mentor.
Yeah.
So shout out Juice. Yeah. Yeah, we got to get everyone. So I started out on the road, which is very typical for the yard, obviously. Start out making deliveries, getting your training that way, touching a lot of product, figuring out how we do that stuff, which I can say was one of the best things that I've done for the company. It's just you really get an understanding of the Blue Bus process, essentially. And then went from Campbell Sport, and this is all with me planning on going to Columbus for inside sales specialist position, and wasn't sure what position I was going to be doing. Was just open to anything because I didn't really know anything at the time. Went to Berlin, and that's when Keith kind of told me I was going to be doing exterior products, roofing, siding, decking at Columbus, and went and trained with Brad Carney, who's now a QB. He was an inside specialist for the exterior products at that time. He taught me a lot. He was a carpenter at the time, was out in the field before he started with Drexel. So like no one better to learn from there. I don't even know how long I was in Campbell's for, probably like 7-8 months. That was all during the summer. Went to Berlin, got inside sales training for about, I want to say another 4 to 5. And then Columbus, boom, was built. Ended up there for, I don't even know, not even a year. And then I transferred to Wrightstown. Yeah, I guess I fell in love finally. Yeah. Finally got the girlfriend that I'm now engaged to. And we both ended up getting work in Green Bay. Well, me, Wrightstown, her, Green Bay. Families are close to Door County, so perfect being close to home. And I've been in Wrightstown ever since and plan on being in Wrightstown.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so I've touched the yard, exterior products, assistant store leader to Keith, and now Larson, and now millwork.
And you're transitioning to leader as well.
Eventually, yeah. I mean, that's the plan. Right now, in the captain's role, when that time comes, I'm going to keep.
Soon, right?
Yeah.
You're training for that?
Yeah, I would say. Kind of getting trained by Justin Spuda. He was, that millwork captain role has switched now 3 times in, I would say, 4 years, from Keith to Spuda, now to myself. And I couldn't be happier. I love doing what I do every day, helping people and getting people trained up. And that's something we're really focusing on in the next year, is finding a good training process. Because I can say I honestly got thrown into millwork by Whitty and Larson. When Larson got the head coach role in Wrightstown, Whitty and Larson pulled me into the office and like, "You're going to do millwork." I'm like, "Oh, cool, sounds good." Don't even know how a door swings or what a hinge right or hinge left, butt to butt.
Yeah,
all
so
that
you actually
jazz.
with that as a leader, right?
Yep.
I mean, I think we just talked about this today. I think the millwork specialty, right? They're experts.
Mm-hmm.
Drexel is a generalist. We do specialists.
Specialists, yep.
Specialists are so much better than generalists. Our competition, all those generalists, they all suck. We rule. Right?
They try to sell everything and they don't even know what they're selling.
Everybody, we have specialists within departments that have to work together as a team.
Yep.
To bring a complete package together. It's a very unique
Right
thing. It's awesome. We love it, but it's tricky. And I think in millwork right now, we have to get back to millwork people they've really been, and you probably learned that, product procurement.
Mm-hmm.
You're asked to get something, you place the order, you quote it, you sell it, you price it, right?
Right.
We have to get better at that. We have to change that in so that you're able to actually read a blueprint, do a takeoff, which we're going to need a little bit more staff, obviously, because it's changing of the role.
For sure.
Doesn't mean do an initial takeoff, but you can be a check and balance. You can be a trusted advisor. You actually know what you're procuring. You can find some, hey, I don't, like you said, people are better at that. I think they would say, hey, there's no J blocks here.
Right.
We do.
Yep.
I'm not sure if millwork guys are quite there, girls yet. I'll keep working towards that. Would you say that might be a big weakness?
Definitely. Yeah, we rely on like the QBs to provide that information. We're not always answering or asking the right questions, like, hey, you're missing your clad frames on your exterior door.
Or even helpful. Like,
right.
Say, grab this plan and tell me how much combo I need for that.
Yep.
They won't price it for you, but wouldn't know what you're talking
Yeah, I'll give you the lineal foot price, but I'm not going to do the takeoff. That's yeah, it's definitely something we need to educate our specialists on. So.
As well, maybe a little bit. It's got more. Sure. So I think I want to touch on the subject. You guys spent both, to my opinion, been through the grind.
Definitely.
Do you say feel like a key to your success?
100%. I would say it's the main thing for me.
Yeah. I'd take it back to that, and even kind of going back to that lack of training. I think in a sense that there's some good to that. When you're not trained as much in depth, your expectation isn't that everything is going to be handed to you with the answers. You're the one to go out there and find it.
Yeah. I know we had a team member yesterday, Saturday, said, hey, why are you not so good at what you're doing currently? And his natural reaction was instantly saying, well, I never got trained very well. That's on you, bro. Justin Smoot and I lost our mind. That's on you. But code word development, there's training that's going to be provided, but I can't teach you everything. So that's on you to become the best.
Yep.
And I gotta give you guys credit. I mean, the grind. If you're watching this wondering, how can I be DVD? How can I be Alex? How did they get the position? It wasn't because they sucked up to people. It wasn't because they were just born rock stars. They grind.
Yep.
These two guys have grinded. You heard how many jobs they had, how many locations they worked at. They busted their ass, but they also performed incredibly well on Tuesday morning and Wednesday afternoon. But they never said no. They always said anything that needs to be done, I'll learn it, I'll know it, I'll own it. There's so much respect for that, guys, and I hope that is taken across all the Drexel areas. People have to understand, if they want to go somewhere here, it's about the grind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can't jump through steps. See, I'll skip those steps because I never did, or I'm this person, or I wasn't hired for that, or I'm better than that, or I have a degree from Madison, right?
Yep.
Probably not why DVD is who he is. He humbled himself, in my opinion, to work in operations. Operations is a great, excellent career. I love the people in operations of that, and we have truly careers that are awesome in those positions.
100%. Yeah.
Normally, people coming out of UW Madison with a business degree are not going to take an operation job. They will refuse to do it. They need to wear a suit and tie to work. DVD was willing to do that. That's huge, guys. That's huge. So I just want to make sure I appreciate that before we move forward.
No, and I noticed that difference too, and with training people and new hires, and kind of the way we run our business is we open that up to hire within our own team, because the people that have gone through that, they kind of have that head start. They understand what's happening inside. They know the team. You don't have to start from scratch, somebody fresh. They just train that much better when they grow from within.
Right, so I gotta check on that.
You do it. No,
Do it too.
family first.
You can do it, man. We can do this all. We can just manage this all. It's gonna be fine.
Anything
Make
goes.
sure, my brain all of a sudden spun when Holden goes to pick up my son Marcus. What's that gonna look like? Is he gonna answer the door?
That's why he said
Does he
you
know where
should
you
probably call him first.
Is my friend of my son Jackson.
Okay, cool.
And Marcus does not have
Okay.
a phone. He's got like Messenger.
Yep.
So I just can't simply get a hold
Works
of him.
off of Wi-Fi.
Phone messages.
Yeah.
I can't really get a hold of him.
We were really confused also who Holden Survey was, because I saw Holden Survey like last week when he was up
Yeah, who'd
doing
have thought?
some
Yeah, you guys
structural
got
training
some-
with Ryan Powers, and
That could be
John,
a podcast with
I'm like,
himself.
hey, looking forward to the podcast next week. He goes, what are you talking
Yeah.
about? I'm like, you sent me the email.
You see the email and his name's Overturn on his
Yeah.
email?
Yeah, and
Because
then,
that's his podcast, Overturn.
Oh,
There's two
he got
Holden
his own.
surveys in the company. You couldn't even get Holden survey.
Yeah.
I
it's like so
That was
confused.
odd.
What is
Yeah,
going
so-
on, Joel?
What are the odds of two Holden surveys?
And he said they've never met.
Yeah, they've never even met each
I
other.
wish you a podcast.
Yeah,
That's what I
What's
said.
those
like-
two.
what's
Yeah.
like being Holden survey?
He doesn't even know how they're related.
Okay, I got a question. People love the future. You're fairly young guys. Very young guys. A dynamic company. I hope that Drexel are changing and growing and dynamic.
Mhm.
You guys are leaders and the captains of your teams. In 3 years, 5 years, a long time. I think we were 4 years ago, right? Long time in Drexel is 4 years. We try to be very dynamic and change.
Yep.
Where do you guys see the number one impact that has changed in your departments? Tough question.
For
A
sure.
couple things, like you see a different vision, you have a little different ownership of that. Not so much dollars, that could be dollars, but you see,
Yeah.
like, you know, I think by then we will have this in place. That's my North Star vision for our team.
I can take that one. I think, in a few years from now, just having a clear vision of, products that we stand behind. It's been referred to many times as a wild, wild west in my department. Cleaning that up, making it so that we 100% stand by what we sell.
So to back that up, right, if somebody comes and say, hey, can we get GAF shingles,
Mhm.
brand X, GBC, right? We know nothing about it, so it's Wild Wild West.
Yep.
Problem there is how do we warranty it, what's the lead times, how do we procure
service it?
How do we sell it? How do we source it? Well, I know where to source it, but what do we charge? Really, the guy doesn't care about the price.
Right.
He just wants to buy it from us. Well, is that really true? Because everyone does care about the price, or do you simply use that big magical world? And which forces them to go to competition, which we don't want.
Right.
But yet we know it's wise because we need to have trusted sources of brands we have to care about and love, and for crew like a little baby, right?
Right. Yep. No, you hit it before
What's
too.
your son's name?
Kendrick.
Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah, Kirkland, like Costco. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
a great
Yeah.
name. You should do
Don't have a membership. Maybe the next
Free membership with naming of a child.
Kirkland's a good name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to run that one by the wife.
Kenny.
She's more, yeah. She doesn't like Kenny.
Oh, my God. Well, you can't use it, sorry.
Yeah. No, blame the wife. But no, I mean, just you hit on it before. What's that?
Like self-apartments, actually. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. But no, you hit on it before with the being a trusted advisor. I think that's the direction our sales team that we want them to head, is to be a trusted advisor, not necessarily just a supplier of product. That's where the sales aspect comes into it. So for us to empower them to make those decisions and to stand behind why you say no to something.
Jason Blanker's vision is that someday we'll put siding on off-site construction. Why can't we
That'd be
side
cool.
right away?
Yeah.
How about that? I've never heard that before. That's interesting, right?
Not to, yeah, I mean, it can happen.
It's interesting.
It is.
That is, yeah.
it's-
Never thought
Especially
about
about garages or something like that, right? Like, it's
Right.
storage
I mean,
for
it
garage,
just
we
ends
decide,
up, yeah.
They ship,
Already installed windows.
they
And the
ship
doors, yeah.
sheds out to a site.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's the difference?
similar.
The panels out with the windows and the siding on, right?
Mhm.
Interesting. But that's Jason's vision, that someday we'll side.
That's cool. Yeah, I like
I don't
that.
know, but we'll see. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's a new one for me, but definitely something to wrap your head around. And like you said, if we're doing windows and we're shipping windows that are in place and then that's glass, the fragileness of it.
Doing that horizontally, stack them vertically.
Just a matter of figuring out more of the water management end of it. How do you tie all those walls together? Is it as easy as just slapping a corner on it? Or how do you seal that to keep everything watertight? But
Maybe we do those corners now anyway, right?
Right.
Technically, they see the corners anyway.
mhm.
Wall panels come out 28 feet long.
No, I mean, especially the direction we're going and our understanding that the labor market is not always going to be as, I shouldn't even say stable because it's not even that stable now, but that seems to trend downhill. The more we can do for a house, it takes away from the labor aspect of it, the more value we add.
Environment with factory, right?
Yep.
Cool. Anyways, that's great. Well, thank
As
you.
long as we're not pre-finishing.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. We went that road for a little bit, but I got parking lot.
Yeah, we do it all for finish. Yeah, you never know, right? So parking lot in Drexel world means, we know it's a good idea, but we can't tackle it right now,
Mhm.
right? So doing under manufacturing, maybe then we will get into it, you know,
Yeah.
you don't know that. Because again, you do it yourself. So that was the benefits. It's
Yeah.
good downside. It's good to have trusted partners. Okay, how about you? You have enough time to think about it? How many?
Yeah,
5 years from now?
Well, 5 years from now is obviously a long time, but like right now, I think about what we're coming out with like this year that's going to help us 5 years from now is the Monday.com. Work sharing has been something that my department struggles
So
significantly
talking
with.
Monday.com, as if I'm a builder that buys from Drexel.
Yeah,
Why would that?
Yep.
Why does that matter to you? What the hell are you talking about?
mainly it's efficiency right now. When someone takes, time off, I'm off tomorrow. If Brett, my sidekick at Wrightstown for the millwork department, isn't there, no one's ordering millwork. So that's, call it 20 orders that don't get placed in one day. Then you come there Monday and you got all those orders. All those orders are now just piling up. Right now it's an efficiency thing, not getting things on next truck. Not that many things in millwork do come next truck because everything's got to be kind of put together. Doors got to be hung and put in a frame. But
So for builders, our lead time would actually shrink, potentially.
yep,
Your stress and anxiety in size would go down.
Yep, you're getting,
Right.
you're not worrying about only placing it for your store. It's essentially a global work share tool that you basically take the first one in, first out. You grab that order and you get it done. It doesn't matter if it's DVD ordering for Campbell Sport, for Jay Enright, or if it's Ryan Ogie and Campbell Sport ordering something
David's
for
trying
me.
to say every team member's name in this podcast.
Oh, I could go
He's
on.
got
You gotta be.
520 more.
Yeah. But it's something that we struggle with so significantly right now that it ends up being most of the time, I would say, one person that grabs those orders and just takes on all that work themselves, when one person might seem like they're swamped when they really just have 3 big orders. It's basically dividing these orders, throughout the 15 people in the millwork department. And I think we're going to get that much more done once this gets installed, developed into our company. I'm just excited for it because everything's going to be online and we're not going to have dozens of sheets of paper in our basket. Things aren't going to get lost. Everything's going to be tracked. You're going to see it kind of like our delivery system, on time and in full. Deadlines have to be met. And I think it's going to be, obviously we've gone paperless now for, I don't even know how long. It seems like forever since we had special order bins. That was a headache. I think this is just going to take my department to the next level. Sales dollars, I think we're still going to continue to increase. But long term, I mean, I know this might sound crazy, but it's yeah, right.
No.
Yeah, especially when you're running it. Yeah. Yeah. I know this was something you and Justin had in the works, or, BS'd about in the past, but like opening up a mill workshop, not essentially just for like moldings, but for doors. I think it would be huge, and just focus on interior doors. We have I think our exterior doors go pretty smooth. Right now, interior doors is like a big struggle for my department. It's what I noticed, getting either damaged. Quality control is pretty brutal vendor wide. They go in, cycles of one being good, one being bad. We switch from one, give them all the orders, we switch to another. And it just is a repeating cycle that never ends. And it's super frustrating to hear our QBs come to me about a vendor screwing up their order that took 2 months to get in. Builder yells at us, we yell at vendor. It's just a never ending cycle.
Can't truly own it.
Right. And like you said about like the, pre-finishing our siding, then the responsibility's on us. We know how we do things on like a delivery end. Obviously now we're in the manufacturing of trusses. I think if we could, and panelized walls too, all complicated stuff. I think we couldn't do that with millwork too, and kind of hold that on our own end.
Wait, so I have a friend in the industry. I don't know if you saw the podcast with Vaughn Lumber during the pandemic. Brad Vaughn. They take millwork and they do, guess what with it? Yes, they install it.
Install it, okay. Installed sales, sure.
Yeah, so you think about cabinetry, right? We do some cabinet jobs when the cabinet manufacturer installs them. So we can install cabinets in millwork. So that
That'd be
builder
sweet.
wouldn't have to worry about back orders, quality control, and like that, be under our umbrella. So that's an interesting.
Yeah, we go install it once it comes back in.
How about
Yeah.
that? What addition?
Yeah.
Weird,
No, I like that.
crazy idea.
That's something I never would have thought of. I was like, pre-finished, like the siding? No.
What if we installed it for builders, right?
Yeah.
Finished carpenters.
That's a call, now that you say that's a call I get, I would say, maybe weekly, every other week. It's how much does that price include the install?
Installation.
I'm like, no, we're just a supplier.
Right, and it wouldn't be for do-it-yourself homeowners, say we
Right.
would install for builders only, right?
Yeah.
Just like we don't install anything else, wall carpet would be different, flooring. Maybe we do this for builders.
That would be neat, though. I really like that.
Really interesting, right? As the markets unfold, so there's a crazy, great idea. Okay, so we are at the point where we need to talk about billboards. We're at that time.
For sure.
We got to manage this now with our Holden. He's dropping off his son.
Way to go, Holden.
Yeah, we're doing fine, Holden. So we do the billboard conversation, which we've done in the past, is, right, huge billboard, unlimited funds, millions of people are going to see it every day. What do you want it to say?
I'll go first this time. Yeah. This is one that I even said, like, because when you get hired at Drexel, you have to put your motto on your bio. And
What do you do?
yeah, well, when you get hired,
It's
it's
not when you
yeah,
get
like,
hired. It wasn't there when you got hired.
No,
Yeah,
it's a lot.
right,
It's a lot
yeah.
when we got hired. We didn't think
Albert didn't think of that
No.
one. Jeez.
But if you did, what would it have been?
Yeah. What would yours have been?
Don't work here. It's a real job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was the motto I put on mine was.
Mine would have been right in the lumberyard, Danny. That would have been mine for sure.
No, you're good. But yeah, when you got hired, you had to answer a few questions. Your favorite food, your life motto, and I submitted that to Holden when we got invited to do the podcast. Was work hard, play harder. I'm, I guess, a weekend warrior. I like to, play hard, literally, but like on the weekends, my fiance sometimes gets upset with me because I literally get no sleep. Like I'm up at 3:00 to hunt in the morning. The opener of duck hunting, I slept out on the boat and just burned the candle. And I work. Oh shit! Yeah. Once, I mean, we got a puppy now that wakes me up at 4:00 in the morning to go, potty outside, whatever. But yeah, I tend to burn the candle and not get enough sleep on the weekends. But the weekends there, you can sleep in your bed. That's something that my dad's always told me. Like, do it while you can, while you're young, and you work so hard during the week. And as cliche as it is, you only live once. Like you only get to do some things so many times. And
25-year-old with COVID. They also had COVID.
Yeah, right. COVID, you can't do crap. Yeah, it's been.
How do you feel pinned down?
No, it's like
your generation figured it out. If you overcome. How do you feel pinned down?
I personally don't like. I'm a big family guy. Outside of work, we're in Sturgeon Bay at my parents' house, in Algoma at Lindsay's parents' house, and Fridays we have our old fashions and fish fries and stuff like that. But I don't let it get to me. It's out of my control. It's out of all of our control right now.
I mean, you feel 5% of your life's taken away? None? But you're like, no, we overcame it with my friends and family.
Yeah, for sure.
At this point, I don't even care.
Right now, like it's getting on the end of the spectrum where it's getting old. Like I'm getting sick of it because it's Packer season. I'm a huge Packer fan. I love to go to Packer games. Drexel's got a box now and we can't even go in the damn thing. But like that, I would say like 10%, like it affects me, but I try to let it not affect me at all because I still got a kick-ass job. Yeah, for sure. They can't go to the bars, Yeah, they're definitely annoyed. But I think they're making it happen. I mean, I still have friends that are still going out to the tavern probably every weekend and saying screw it. Yeah, right. That where you're allowed to go. But for me, I just don't let it bother me. Like I got a lot of golf in this summer. That's something I never was really able to do. Golf is like golfing and hunting are like two of probably the biggest hobbies right now, I would say, during all this crap right now. Like golf courses dominated this summer. Like
they dominated rounds, they did not dominate tournaments, so they just had money.
Right, for sure.
They figured it out.
Like I probably spent so much money on golf this summer, and it's not even right compared to last year. It's 10 times the amount I went out. So, but yeah, I guess for me, being able to wake up and actually have a job to go to is the way I tend to look at it. I feel like being 25, I'm one of the few of my friends that look at it that way, but my friends aren't fortunate enough to work here. No, I got friends that say every day, like, how do I get in there? I'm like, well, I'll let you know when I got an opening. I've hired 2 of my buddies here. So,
that's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Birds of a feather fly
Yep.
together, right? How about you, Alex?
Mine was a bit longer. I had to write it down. It'll have to be a big billboard. You said a big one, though.
Yeah.
I put happiness comes a lot easier when you stop complaining about your problems and start being grateful for all the problems you don't have.
Deep.
I think what ties that into me, I try to pride myself on not being a complainer. I think we know that there's it's almost like a disease at times where people can become chronic complainers, and if you're not willing to do anything to make it any different for yourself, if you're just complaining to complain but not trying to better the situation, that can become contagious for people. You
It's
start
super
complaining.
contagious.
Right?
Mhm.
Did you take Dale Carnegie?
I did.
Never condemn, complain,
Mhm.
or criticize.
Yep.
Never condemn, complain, or criticize.
That started tonight.
It's an effing mindset.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
I
you
feel
get caught
so
in,
much like Jocko right now. Joe Rogan. I'm so
Yeah.
moved up with this microphone. You can emphasize things, not
Yeah.
slow. That's great.
but yeah, so I don't know. That just it hits home to me. I not to say I never complain. I'm sure I do at times, but I try and catch myself before it gets to that point because when you start, it's hard to get out of that circle, and I try and keep myself from getting pulled in when other people do. It gets to a point where you can give them advice, but again, if they're not willing to do anything to get out of that situation or to better it, it just wastes time at that point. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a spiritual guy. That's the freaking devil, you guys.
Right.
Yep.
It is the devil working with people. That's why they can't get out of it. The devil's got them in a snare claw trap. Right? I mean, you follow anything in the Bible, anything Jesus said, anything confused, anything Buddha said, name the religion, right? Like, that's the devil. That's the evil.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to make you condemn and complain about things that are out of your control. And it's just, it sucks it, man. That's good. That's
Right.
good
Yeah.
stuff.
It just kind of sucks you out of being able to live a life.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. You can't control
Out
it.
of your
Mhm.
control.
Who cares?
Oh.
What's the difference? There's a point where you want to talk through things.
Right.
And have conviction and speak with passion. That's when you're against something. That's different than complaining about things you have no control of
Mhm.
or gossiping.
Yeah.
And look who has returned. Speaking of gossiping,
There we go.
no control.
Went smooth.
Did you get him there?
Smooth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you knock on the front door?
Yeah, it's knock on the front door and he opens up.
Answered?
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you big smile? Did you know right away? Or do you think like
He probably knew. He answered really quickly. He probably knew right away.
Okay. Then he was geeked up.
Did you get him there on time?
Probably not. I mean, what time
You
is
there at 4?
what time does it start at?
4.
I probably got him there about 4 or 6.
Oh, they're gonna do laps.
These are your
No,
toes.
Yeah, he's a quarterback. They're not gonna do laps for the quarterback.
QB1, yeah, QB1, you can't.
QB1,
Yeah.
baby. He's like, well,
Lead by
thank you for
example.
coming. Thank you for coming, Marcus.
What happens if the basketball team's late?
Well, I don't really believe in that as a youth level. I've seen that done by other coaches. It's 99% out of the kids' control, like Marcus. So you think Marcus, well, what could it be done? He called me early, like it's the parents.
Yeah.
So I don't do anything when they're late because I don't feel as a youth they're in control of that.
Mhm.
Like you're taking it too far. That's not their deal at all. So we did have a unicorn practice too from 4 to 5. They don't lay out with them. Their coach has been good about that. So got our first basketball tune-up tonight, 6:30 to 8.
So he goes from that to basketball?
He just will tonight, one time
Damn.
only. Yeah,
Good
not
for him.
typically,
Yeah.
not typically.
Are you coaching that?
I do coach basketball, yeah. We actually had a coach coming in, Joe Chapman, to coach them tonight, so I have nothing planned for about 20 kids on our first night tune-up. And he texted me right before the podcast that he can't make it.
Oh
So I
boy,
gotta come up with a game plan.
you can send Holden.
Yeah.
Yeah, him going
Thankfully I've
coach.
been coaching long enough, and it's the tune-up night, so
Yeah.
I can kind of wing it, but I'm not a winger, I'm a planner, so I gotta look organized, so I gotta get organized on that. All right, guys, you got anything left to say? You guys were excellent. I think we're about that
You
time.
did billboard.
We did billboard.
Billboard's
Just
done.
missed it.
Yeah, you just missed out. Missed out on everything but the first introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all right. You got an important thing there.
Yeah, you did. I think you guys were great. You're excellent. Right about that time. Anything you guys wish we would have talked about or something you want to add?
No, I mean we touched on COVID, so
Do you wanna
Which we've
explore that more?
dominated, I think,
no,
personally.
no. I mean,
As a company, I think we've done everything in our power to
Yeah.
do what we can to keep reaching our main goal every day. So
Yeah.
it was an interesting way to put it, though. How you asked him what percentage of your life do you feel like it is affected? I'd be right around that 10% too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a lot more if you took time to think about it. I miss live music.
oh, for
I do
sure.
not listen to live music. I don't go to festivals. I wear hearing aids. I'm 46. Like I'm not play harder guy anymore, right?
Yeah, I'm sure
I
that'll
used-
wear
I used to be
down.
like, what did you say? Sleep when you're dead.
Yeah,
I literally lived by the mantra, sleep when you're dead. Know what I live by the mantra now? I love to sleep.
Sleep.
Nothing wrong with sleep. Get the hell out of it. This happens after midnight. It's my new mantra. But I
It's 'cause
am
he's got
dying to go to a cover band.
Teenagers.
Oh what?
yeah.
Cover band.
What's that?
Come on.
They like
Jeez.
they cover tunes, dude. Like they're a picnic band.
I don't know what that
It's like
is.
listening to AC/DC,
Like
but not
Party in the
having
Band, like a cover
AC/DC.
band.
Oh,
Billy Joel's
like-
80.
Like your dad would hire a band.
Yeah.
They play all the
What are they
hits.
gonna play? They're not playing their own music.
Right.
So they
Play all the
covers.
hits.
It's a cover band.
Billy Joel.
Right.
Yeah, we used to get some of those at the bar. One time I asked this like rock band if they could play like Three Little Birds by Bob Marley, not knowing. Yeah.
Yeah, they did riff it out for you a little
No, he
bit.
didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, see, sometimes when the band will just play like one verse because they know that.
Yeah.
Like that's cover bands. Like the rock
Well, I
band-
think he played it actually. He played it.
Yeah,
He
so you
did.
try to like a little something,
Yeah.
something, right? A little ditty. Nobody cares. So I miss live music. Right?
Yeah.
I think more than
Concerts, yeah, like
I miss being with people.
for sure.
Mhm.
I want to see a packed bar. I miss hugs. You know, and some of that stuff maybe I gotta get back. So, but I don't write down to that. You guys are great. Could be leaders in the company. You got big teams. Very positive stuff, you guys. So, thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Clink.
Finish it.